This video will give you an introduction to class actions. Over the next few minutes, we're going to discuss what a class action is, how it proceeds, and how you might be able to become involved in a new or an ongoing class action. A class action is a lawsuit where one or a few people sue on behalf of a larger group. That larger group is called the class. The people advancing the lawsuit on behalf of the class are called representative plaintiffs. A class action is started just like a regular lawsuit. The lawyers for the plaintiffs will draft a statement of claim. Now, that statement of claim sets out what happened and what the plaintiffs are seeking to recover in the lawsuit. The statement of claim is then served on the defendants. For a lawsuit to become a class action, first that action has to be certified as a class proceeding. And what that means is the lawyers for the plaintiff will bring a motion to court and they'll ask a judge if the lawsuit can proceed as a class proceeding. A lawsuit will not be able to proceed as a class action unless and until a judge certifies the action as a class action. Once an action is certified, a class action proceeds more or less like a regular lawsuit. The parties will exchange documents and review each other's documents. The parties will then proceed to examinations for discovery. If the case doesn't settle, eventually the class action goes to trial. Many types of lawsuits can be class actions. One type is where a person's personal information has been lost or stolen by a company. For example, if the company loses the information, or maybe someone has hacked into the company's system and has stolen the information. Another kind of class action is where a corporation breaches its contract with a group of people. Other types of class actions involve conspiracies, where the plaintiff alleges that a group of companies have gotten together and agreed to unlawfully raise prices to the detriment of consumers. There are almost as many types of class actions as there are types of lawsuits. Oftentimes, class actions are discussed in the news. Other times, you'll see a class action being advertised, maybe in the newspaper, or perhaps posted on social media accounts such as Twitter or Facebook. If you're a member of a class action, often you'll be contacted directly by plaintiff's counsel. This is usually done by mail, and also the lawyers for the class will generally post information about the class action on their website. In most cases, you don't have to do anything to join the class action. If the action is certified as a class action, then you're automatically a member of the class unless you take certain steps to opt out. If you think you're a class member of a class action that has already started, please contact us right away. We can help you determine if you're a member of the class. Class members should take steps to keep certain documents. For example, if you've purchased a product that is the subject of the class action, you should keep the receipt. Otherwise, a member of a class action doesn't really need to do anything during most of the class action. As a class member, you should check the firm's website from time to time so that you can learn what's happening in a class action and get any updates that might be posted for the class members. If you think that you've suffered physical or financial harm and that other people have suffered similar harm to the harm that you've experienced, you should call a lawyer who's experienced with class actions to determine whether you might have a case. Our lawyers would be happy to speak with you to discuss what's happened and to determine whether it might be appropriate to start a class action. These consultations are completely free of charge. Generally speaking, class actions work on a contingency fee basis. That means the lawyers for the class only get paid if the class members eventually recover money at trial or through a settlement. Often class actions are brought against a number of corporate defendants, and typically they involve a number of complex legal issues. Oftentimes it can take years before a class action goes to trial or is resolved through a settlement. A class action allows plaintiffs to pool their resources together. This means that even if the value of individual claims are very small, when those claims are pooled together, it still makes a financially viable lawsuit. This allows class members to recover for harm even if the amount of harm they suffered individually is relatively small.